Hello?
7 days.
I'm screwed. Hello everyone and welcome to another exciting episode of Cardiac. So when I was younger, when I got my phone, a lot of my friends who already had phones convinced me to call a couple of numbers and dial them just so I could hear what was on the other line. Obviously not knowing what to expect, I got pretty much a very interesting kind of experience, if you will. Now these numbers can range from just like, ooh, that's a little freaky, to I'm genuinely terrified to go to sleep. And so what I thought would be a good idea is, in thinking about other topics that I want to discover here on this YouTube channel, I felt that it was only appropriate that we call these numbers. So I found a link from a website called The Ghost in My Machine, and we're actually going to dial these numbers, and these numbers still work. Now I did film this video a couple days ago, and a lot of the numbers I called just weren't working, but these numbers here in 2018 still work. I'm actually going to include the link to this page that I found in the description down below, so that'll give you an opportunity to actually call the numbers yourself. So let's get started, shall we? This is apparently from the SPC Foundation, which is like a creepypasta that's basically, their foundation is aimed at finding weird and unexplainable phenomena. It's kind of what it is. So we are going to dial the number. The number is 951-572-2602. I'll put it on speaker so you guys can hear this.
You have reached the SCP Foundation, Southern California, Division 19. Please leave a message including date and time of incident, location of incident, and a description of the incident itself. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Forrest, and I found this weird creature. It's Wednesday, December 5th around 10:08. I found it somewhere near like the Old Town Orange area, and hopefully you guys figure it out. Bye. So that was pretty cool to actually like hear the message, like actually hear the sound and be like, oh my god, that worked. And so that was pretty awesome. So the next one we're gonna call is 828-756-0109. So apparently this is based in North Carolina, specifically Marion, about 85 miles west, slightly north of Charlotte. And there's some really weird sounds that go to it, but we'll figure it out. But I think the interesting part is, see if you could hear the message coded in binary, and we'll see what comes out of it. Let's do this. See if it works. Whoa! That was crazy. Okay, so apparently people actually listened to the code that he was saying. If you didn't hear it, it's a bunch of ones and zeros. But when they put it into like a binary translator, it translated to the word death. And so, and you could tell his voice sounds very frantic. That was pretty creepy. I'm a little terrified. Oh my god. So another number I'm just gonna briefly talk about, as well as include into a bit of the audio, is this one number that is basically in reference to 9 Inch Nails' Year Zero album. If you're not familiar with the album, it is a concept album of what basically the apocalypse happens in the year 2022, and it's their view on George W. Bush. And so with that being said, there was a USB that was found, and inside of that USB was an audio file. The audio file had a chirping sounds, but when they put it through a spectrogram, they found a code which actually translated to a phone number, and if you dialed this number, it was a conversation between a mother and her daughter. The only weird problem is that it's actually a US wiretapped recording, and so this is actually what you hear when you call that number.
US wiretap. File access to begin playback. Hello?
Robbie! Robbie! Robbie, are you there? Oh my god, I'm at the club and
Mia, what the hell?
I'm gonna die!
Mia!
Oh my god, we're gonna die!
Mia, what's going
I locked myself in the stock room, but now I can't get out and everybody's got it.
Now the number has since disappeared. You can't really call it anymore, which kind of sucks. But thankfully people in the past have recorded these conversations and the calls, so we can in future years get to listen to stuff like this, which is pretty awesome. So the final number that we're going to be calling is this one called Booth World Industries. So this one is basically another creepypasta, but it's taken a little bit further. Okay, so there's 2 phone numbers on here, but we're gonna focus on, let's try the first one. If the first one doesn't work, we'll call the second one. So the first one is 630-296-7536. Let's call it and let's see what we get out of it. I'm kind of nervous.
You have reached Booth World Industries. Your number has been logged and traced. A service representative will be with you shortly for remodeling. We at Booth World Industries say thanks. You have a marvelous day.
That's so weird. Okay, well let's try the other one and let's see what happens, okay? So the second one, 801-820-0263. All right, let's try it. It's gonna work. Who knows what it's gonna do? Oh my god. Oh my god. That was creepy. Alright, so wrapping up and kind of my thoughts on these cursed numbers. So while I don't think that the numbers are necessarily real, what I love the lore about these numbers is that it's something that you do with your friends. You pick up the phone, you dial these numbers, not knowing what's going to be on the other side, and having this really fun moment with your friends. And I think that's what is the draw for having phone numbers like this and getting to interact that way, because I think it's what makes the interaction much more interesting. I loved calling these numbers, and these numbers are very interesting to discover. So when you do discover them, they're so great and you're like, oh my god, this is amazing. And so I think these numbers are so awesome, and I'm so glad that, you know, these numbers can still exist even in, you know, future times, as kids of a younger age, no matter what device they have, can contact these numbers and they still have that little bit of lure of like, what will happen if I dial these numbers, and like what happens out of that. It's almost like doing a chain email or chain letter or something, and that's what I get out of it. So let me know in the comments down below, were there any other phone numbers that we did not talk about that you called in the past that you're like, I need to talk about this number? Because there's still a few more that I know that we have not talked about, and so that is what I'm very excited for. So thank you so much for watching this another installment of Cardiac. If you liked the video, please do not forget to like and subscribe down below. If you like what we're doing here and would like to support what we're doing here, please do not hesitate to visit the Patreon page. The link is located in the description down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, my name is Forrest, and I'll see you in the shadows.